So we're back for another 50 hands here in part 2. Let's just jump right into it, really. We got King 10 on the button. We see a limp before us. We see a raise, and we definitely just fold here. King 10 is not that great, so simply folding here for sure, yeah. Queen 5, we're just gonna fold. 4-7, we should just fold, yeah. Ace 9 also fold. I think here I would say Ace 10 is the worst ace we would play here, that if it wasn't suited. 4-5 suited in the big. It's limp. I think we can. I think here, when we get limps to us like this and the small blind folds, I think we should just check and see a flop. I mean, he's not very likely to fold anyway. If we raise, he could, but this player has been proven quite sticky, so I think we can just check. We do. Flop a flush draw here. We should definitely check to our opponent. We really don't want to have many leads in our range. It's really weird, so I think we should definitely avoid that. So check. Our opponent decides to check behind, which is a little bit odd, but yeah. So the turns to check. So we have to think, okay, should we bet or should we check again? I think both have merits for sure. I mean, once again, like, we have 5 high, so anything he folds is better than what we have, right? Even if he has like 6 high, I mean, it's still better than what we have, right? So I'm definitely thinking we should probably bet here on the turn. Also builds the pot, like builds some value if we should hit our flush. So definitely I think we should bet. We do bet. And our opponent folds. Yeah, so that's fine. I mean, yeah, I mean, we could have gone for the check, but it's really weird to check a lot of position with 5 high, I think. It's a little bit sketchy on the turn there. So let's see the next one. King 5, we're probably not gonna... Yeah, we're gonna fold here. Okay, ace jack, so now we're getting somewhere here. This guy jams here for almost 12 blinds. Okay, and this is actually a little bit interesting, because we're obviously, I think, when he jams from this position, I think ace jack is definitely good enough that we want to continue. The question is, do we call or raise? And so we look, so the small blind has no more chips than what's being shoved for, so he doesn't really matter. It's really about the big blind, right? And yeah, honestly, I think that we can go either way here, but I think flatting sort of safer, because we can still definitely fold if Smork were to re-raise us, you know. So I think we can definitely flat here. We actually don't, we raise it, which is, I mean, it's okay. We make it quite a small raise, obviously. I mean, this is okay as well, but it's probably better to... Because now we have to call off anyway, so probably better to either go all in or just call. But it doesn't matter, Smork folds anyway, so most of the time it doesn't matter what we do anyway, of course. Running the cards, and we take it down versus ace 8, so good pot for us there. As we can see, we're like way the biggest stack on the table, which is really good, because obviously this means that we can put pressure on the others. And I think throughout this series, we're going to see that putting pressure on our opponents when they're playing scared is going to definitely be one of the main reasons that we managed to win this tournament. So moving on, now we got pocket kings, which is a pretty good hand. So we see a raise, and this is okay. So this is a little bit interesting. So we see under the gun +1, going for an open, and then okay, so yeah, so the cutoff then goes for... Oh, sorry, not the cutoff, I'm the cutoff. The hijack then goes for the 3-bet, and then again, we have kings, so we have to 4-bet, right? And really, we have to 4-bet in such a way that we're getting it in, really. So it doesn't really matter what size we make it, honestly. But I would say, like, whatever, 5k, 6k, doesn't matter, I mean... what we want to avoid really is just like if we make it like 4k and this guy just flats and it's weird and there's ace on the flop. So I think we should make it 5 or 6k, something like that. We'll make it 6,400, which I think is fine. It's a little bit big, whatever, but it's good. This guy's probably got a strong range, obviously, after 3-betting here, since this is the under the gun +1 player that is 3-betting versus. So we see folds. And the first guy here, what's he gonna do? He's gonna rejam So he's gonna 5-bet all in, but the 5-bet is obviously basically equal to our stack. This other guy is gonna go ahead and 6-bet jam over the top all in, and I mean, at this point we have to be worried that this guy could have aces, but I mean, we were never ever folding, so we're gonna call it off. See a safe run out. We beat tens and ace king, so that's good. That is actually really good. So now we end up with a huge stack of 48,000, which is really good for us. And now I think this is I don't remember actually. I don't think you can see in Poker Tracker like the payouts and like or like when we were to reach the money, but I'm pretty sure this is right about where the money is gonna start to matter, and people aren't gonna want to bust right now. I think anyway. So I think definitely it's fine for us to open the hand here like 6-9 suited when we're so deep. We're over 100 big blinds deep, and we got everyone covered so many times over. So we want to like try and punish these guys for probably playing a little bit scared because they don't want to bust before the money. So we open up, and we said jam here after he called. So we obviously have to muck here. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but that's what happens. Sometimes we have to be careful. If we think that people are rejamming too much, then we should be a little bit tighter with our opens. But I think that's fine still. A7, we're not gonna play that. Ace4, not gonna play that either. Jack 5 either. Jack 9 suited maybe. Let's see. So we see a raise from the cutoff, call from the button. So this is one of those spots as well where I think either raise or call is good. The thing with raise is like it puts these guys in a little bit of a tough spot, so I kind of like it. Problem again here is that Jadim has such a short stack, so he probably has something very good, so we might want to call just for that reason. Which we do, which is fine. And we flop a pair and a straight draw. We check, we see a bet, a raise, and at this point we obviously, even though we have an open-ended straight draw and a pair, we're definitely going to be behind a lot, so I think we just have to say goodbye here and fold. We do, and for the fun of it, I guess we can look up what's going to happen here. They're just going to call it off, and it was queen 9 for 2 pair versus ace queen. Yeah, so that's what happens. So good fold for us there, of course. And now we get moved to a new table. Let's see what happens then. Well, we obviously fold 9 deuce offsuit. 9 though, pocket 9s. Yeah, so here obviously just gonna open 9s. Nothing odd about that. Opening it up. And see a call in the big. Okay. Okay, now so let's see some. It's good that we get some post flop in here. Okay, so let's see. This guy is gonna check. I think this is close, but I think we probably want to just check back. I mean, the thing is, our hand is not really that good. I mean, if we get like check raised or something, we're gonna be in a really awkward spot if we bet. So I think both. Again, like I guess I keep saying that both betting and checking has merits, but the thing is, it's hard for us to get value by many hands anyway if we bet. So I think checking is good in that sense. We could get value from like a flush draw or something, but then again, they're not gonna fold the flush draw, so it doesn't really. Yeah, I think checking back is the play here actually. And we decided to check. I think so. Yeah. I think if we had an overpair, like if we had if the queen was like a 7 or something, definitely I think we could bet. But here I think it's just sucks if he has a queen, you know. And there's an 8 on the turn. Our opponent bets out. I think we definitely can call here. He can be a little bit frisky, maybe betting an 8, a stone cold bluff, a flush draw, maybe picked up some kind of like a jack 10 straight draw kind of hand. So definitely we are going to call here. We definitely beat enough of his hands. River's a 6 of spades, and he goes for the bet, and now it's tough. Now it's really tough, because, I mean, if he picked up some sort of a straight draw on the turn, it's possible that he got there on the river. But I think with us sort of under-repping, by checking back the flop, he thinks we were kind of weak So I think that we can call it off because our hand is under wrapped. He could still have a flush draw that missed or a straight draw like that missed also. So I think we can call here. We decide to call. He has 8-8, so he turned a set. So I mean that's okay. I mean you know we are definitely going to be losing hands in this tournament, so that's fine. I mean we had him obviously down to 2 outs on the flop, so I mean that's one of the risks that we take when we check back is that he realizes some of his equity. But yeah, that's just fine. And honestly, he probably wouldn't have folded 8s on the flop, of course, so it doesn't really make a difference. Okay, moving on. Jack 3, nope. Jack 7, no. 10-7 suited, I think, if I know me. I'm gonna open here. This is a little bit... Oh no, now we're gonna fold, I think. We should be folding. The thing is, I tend to sometimes, when I get these big stacks, I tend to overplay these suited gappers from time to time, but I think we should be folding here. Yeah, we do that. Okay, good. So disciplined. Okay, that's good. Right. So let's see. King 3, obviously a fold. 8, 9 suited in the big blind. Let's see it. So yeah, we're on. He's jamming, so we obviously have to fold. I'm gonna fold this hand as well. Yeah, this hand is gonna fold as well. So many folded hands. Let's see here though. Yeah, this is interesting. So here we can either call or raise, I think. The big blind has the kind of rejamming stack, but he's really the only one. I don't remember the the dynamic at the table, so I don't know if this guy had been limping or whatever. I don't remember. But I think either has merit. But I think we're gonna probably go with a raise here, but I'm not sure. Yeah, we do go for raise. I think if we had a little bit of the thing is with okay, so this is something I'll touch on briefly that I think is interesting. So Jack 8 suited I think makes a better raise here than like Jack 10 suited, because Jack 8 suited, if we get 4-bet, it's so obvious that we should fold. This is one of those spots where we definitely are bluffing, right? Jack 10, when we raise, if we have Jack 10 suited in a raise, I think we're sort of borderline not racing anymore for a bluff. We're racing, but we're not racing as a bluff because we still have a good hand, but it's not really for value either. So I think it's better to have these hands that are a little bit weaker, that are easy to categorize as a bluff or a value raise, right? So yeah. So I think Jack 10 we would call. Jack 8 I think racing is good. Okay. So we get a call, and no, okay, so only the small blind calls, which is fine, so we're obviously in position for post-flop. So let's see what happens. There's a flush draw coming up here. And this guy actually donks out pod, which is really, really weird. Yeah, I mean, this is just a gross spot. There's 11k in the middle. This guy has 14k behind now, and we have 38k. So what do we think his range is when he's donking, right? Well, we're gonna have to guess that he has he can have a flush draw as well, right? He could a lot of the time actually have a worse flush draw than us, which is really good for us in that case. Or I mean, he could have a 6, but I don't think a 6 will play this way. It seems very odd for a 6 to play this way. He could have a 4, but I think all in all, he has mostly hands that are not so valuable. Mostly semi-bluffs. So I think that it makes sense for us to play it out here. So I think we can... I think actually we are deep enough still that we could call here, but then he's going to have less than pot on the turn. So that's I think it's a merit for going all in here. But I think also, I mean, it's fine really either way. I mean, we could evaluate again on the turn, but I think we should probably just go all in. We decided to call, okay. And there's another 6 on the turn here. Okay. And so now this player checks. Yeah, now see, this is definitely getting a little bit sketchy, right? So there's a huge amount of chips in the middle, and we want those. And we're never gonna win at showdown, really. I don't think, anyway. So, but then again, like, I mean, if we go all in here, I mean, it seems like he might even call off all in with like a lot of hands, like maybe even ace king if he, but probably he should have probably raised that. But even like ace high type of hands could possibly call it off here. I don't know. It seems like we don't really have a 6 very often, right? We never have a 6, and he could actually have a 6. So I think I think it might be fine for us to check and just see a river, right? Hopefully we hit a jack or 8 or something. So let me think what I was doing here. Yeah, okay, so I think my plan here is, because I bet only a third of the pot here, I think that I was thinking that he stabbed the flop and was now giving up. And I thought that since I don't have any showdown value, I don't really want to give it up, so it makes sense for me to bet then. I mean, this spot is really kind of odd because of his flop lead, so it's really kind of hard to know exactly what would be the best course of action. But I definitely think that this is okay, but I'm not sure how many folds I should be expecting, right? So he calls here. Now, oh yeah, so the river is a 10, so and he moves all in. So this is really interesting, because we have a flush now. And the thing is, he goes all in on the river, and so he would never, unless he's like the worst player of all time, he would never play a flush this way. Like, if he has a better flush than us, he would never play it this way, right? And I don't think that he would play quads this way, right? I don't think that he would play a 4 this way. And I don't understand how he could get to the river with a 10 here. So it seems really, really sketchy. If I can put it that way, it seems really, really sketchy. And it is a pretty good price. We only need to be right 19% of the time. And it's actually a huge pot. But this is definitely more of a hero call. But I seem to remember having, I don't know if it was some sort of a sizing teller or timing teller or something, but I had something on this guy, I think, because I did end up calling here, and I was right. He actually had ace king, which I wouldn't have thought actually so much that he would have ace king since he flatted pre-flop, but yeah, he played his hand really weird. I don't understand what his plan was, but yeah, it worked out well for us anyway. But yeah, that hand's a whole big mess. But let's move on now before it takes too long here, I guess. Jack 7, gonna just fold that one. Ace king suited, not gonna fold that one, I don't think. It's gonna open, obviously. Okay, we just pick it up. King 5's a fold. King 7's a fold. 8-6, let's see it. Yeah, I think we can just call and see a flop here. It's a great price. We need 13% equity, 6.58 to 1, so quite a bad flop. We're just gonna check, of course. And we're gonna give up, of course, yeah. No big deal. Now we got a better hand here, let's see. So under the gun raises. Folds around to us. I think we can call here because we have good enough of a hand, a little bit extra invested with a small blind. And I think I remember the big blind not being super squeezy or whatever, so he's not super likely to raise. So I think calling here is okay for us, because if we re-raise, we're just going to get actually only better hands, right? So we call, big blind folds, we could take a flop out of position. We pick up a flush draw. We check, he bets. Now, so now we should ask ourselves, we're obviously continuing, we're never folding here. Should we raise or should we call? Well, there's a paired board, and he probably never has a 6, right? So unless he has, like, the only hands he can really have that makes sense here, because if he has a worse flush draw where it's just awesome, right? Then we're in heaven, right? Then we're so far ahead. But I don't really see what worse flush draw he has, like King Jack of Hearts or something. But other than this, what can he really have, right? He can have a queen, but we block ace queen a little bit. So you can have like king queen, I guess, or queen jack suited, queen 10 suited, queen 9 suited. But but that's really his only value. So I think that since we have the ace high flush draw, I think it makes more sense to play it as a call, since we do actually have some showdown value if he, for example, has king jack of spades or something like that. So we go ahead and make the call. So that by that I mean if we had a worse flush draw, maybe the 4-5 or something, or maybe the 8-9 or something that doesn't have showdown value, maybe we're more inclined to raise on this flop. So the turn is a 9 of hearts. We check, and he checks behind. We see a river. Oh yeah, right. I remember this. Okay, so this is quite crappy. The board of double pairs, and we were not particularly scared that he would have a queen, but we're kind of scared that he has a 9 since he checked back. He could have easily. So I think we're just gonna check call river here. We go for the check, and he checks behind. And so obviously, when he checks behind, he never has a nut flush beat. So he actually, in fact, also had ace 10, but just not the suit. So yeah, so it worked out great for us. 10-3 is not going to be played here, obviously. So let's see here. Okay, so limp under the gun, raise. I think this is one of those spots where we're so deep and this other player is so deep that this hand might actually be fine to flat with. Because I don't think Bitsa88 here, I don't think he was one of those guys who like limp jammed or something. Both of these guys are so deep, so I think we could see a flop here with this hand actually. It would make some sense. And yeah, we decide to actually do that. I think it's good. We're so deep. we're 100 blinds deep, but even these other guys are pretty decently deep. And so I think it's on the edge, but I think it's fine. It's not a huge race either. So we go 3 ways, which is really, that's sort of the reason why we got some sort of extra odds, because it was very likely that this under the gun player was going to call behind, and he did. So let's see a flop. Well, we flopped the bottom pair here on a paired jack 6 board. So we see a check and a bet, and I mean, it's a little gross. It's not great, but obviously he bets real small, so we're definitely just gonna call. I mean, why would we raise here? We're never gonna raise on this weird board, so we're just gonna call with R6 and see a turn really. And this player folds. Okay, there's a 5, doesn't really help us much. The only way, well, of course, if there comes another 5, we make a boat. But he goes for a bet again here. He's really only repping a jack, or he could have like a flush or something. I think this is close. I think we could let it go. But I think he has way too many bluffs also, so I think because I mean, if he has, for example, if he has pocket queens, when we call the flop, our most likely holding is a 6 or a jack, of course. And if we have a jack, he's helplessly behind, so it might be time to slow down if he has an overpair here. And we do make the call there. And there's a 7 on the river, and he jams it in there. Yeah, but I mean, I think at this point we probably just have to give him credit. I'm not sure if I did, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, it seems to make sense to give him credit here and fold. He generally has a better hand here than we do when he plays it this way. I mean, if he bluffed us, kudos to him, but yeah, we'll let it go on the river there. I think that it's not a great spot for us. 10-3 is obviously a fold. Jack 8. Let's see. This is a fold when he jams. Do 7's fold, obviously. 4-6 is well, this is probably generally a fold, but I think that this, I don't remember. I'm still not sure if we're in the money yet or if we're close to, but I think we are in the money, so yeah, probably a fold, but we might have played it for the funsies. Yeah. This is. I wouldn't recommend this, but if you. It's probably in this lineup for me. It's probably fine overall, but I think generally you don't want to do this. This is probably a bad race by me here. But let's see. Yeah, well, it worked out. So deuce 8. We're gonna fold to the jam. Okay. 3-4. Now we're getting some bad hands here. We're gonna fold, of course. King 6. We're gonna fold. 3-2. Wow, great hands. We're gonna fold as well. Queen 5. Yeah, this is obviously fold as well. Queen 4 is a fold. Wow, a lot of folding now. Even this Jack 10, I think this is once again. Now we're actually, since we're sort of getting short-handed, I think we can open here. This is really close, really close. But I think it's fine for us to open with this big stack. Oh wow, actually we actually fold, huh? Well, I mean it's okay. It's okay. It's not over. I mean, yeah, it's okay. We can go either way there, I think. 2-4 obviously have to fold. King 9 in the big. Let's see it. So, yeah, we're just gonna take a flop here. Obviously, seems to be great. Getting 3.4 to 1, so it's a great price. Just see a flop. Okay. Flop nothing. Gonna check as always here. And obviously, yeah, we're just gonna fold to this bet. No point for us to continue here. 5-9. Where's a jam? It's a fold, of course. 10-5. We're gonna fold probably. Yeah, so so generally I don't really like 10-5 even on the button when it's folded to us. Maybe if we think these opponents are easy to steal from, we might, but I'm probably just gonna fold here. Yeah, I like that. I don't want to play too many hands. Otherwise, we're just getting exploited by the small blind starting to raise every hand. And once again here, I think we should fold. Yeah. King Jack maybe. Let's see. So I think this is probably a fold when he opens here. Yeah. I mean, King Jack suited, sure. King Queen offsuit, sure. But I think maybe even not even King Queen offsuits. But King Jack offsuit, definitely no. Definitely a fold there. Not good enough. When he races under the gun +1. 7-3 is a fold. And let's see. So the last hand, 10-2. Yeah, so this is obviously a fold as well. Right, so I'll see you guys back in part 3.